Top 10 Sexual Practices in Africa. The term sexual practices can be seen as a way in which human experiences express sexuality. People seem to engage in different forms of sex acts, ranging from one practice to another. Some like to do it alone, while others choose dual or more than one to be the best. The outcome of sexual practices mostly is for physical arousal. Some take it as a period of having fun or self-pleasure. All these can change humans physically when the practice is on. It can be well pronounced or subtle. Africa is a wide, strange continent with different cultures and traditions. A place where you can view some acts that look legitimately accepted and others seem to be absurd. It is in the Africa setting one can discover that a twin birth seems evil. Nigeria, as an example, is likely to stop this act. A civilization came in, a place where it is said corpse cleansing by the use of water, and the same water is given to a widow to drink to justify her from her husband's death, or to prove her innocence if she doesn't have a hand in the death of her husband, etc. There are many cultural practices in Africa, but our main focus is on sexual practices. These are the top 10 sexual practices found in Africa. 1. Sexual cleansing. This involves a woman having unprotected sex with a woman, a hyena, or a man that performs ritualized sex acts with recently widowed women and monarchal girls. Kenya, Malawi, Zambia, and other African countries practice a professional sex male worker who could a brother-in-law to a widow happen to give herself out to the man for sex to continue the deceased name. There are some areas where some family men paid a man for such act to be carried out, especially for ladies who undergoes her period for the first time. This act is carried out on 3 separate occasions. A. When a girl is observing her first menstrual flow. B. When a married woman loses her husband. C. When someone had an abortion newly. This tradition is said to be done in order to help the girl. 2. The Okujapisa Omukazandu treatment. There is a handed-down tradition that has been a benefit to the Himbo people, whereby their wives are given out to a visitor when the visitor comes knocking to pass a night. The man of the house or the husband opens the door to show an approval of seeing such guest. He gives his wife to his guest for the night, and he sleeps in another room or outside if there is no venue for him to sleep. This act fosters relationships and reduces jealousy among them. 3. Virginity testing. Although the government of South Africa made several attempts to abolish this practice, they were unable to succeed because it is quite popular among them. This practice is carried out by a virginity tester, who takes a lady into a secluded room as she instructs her to lie down with her legs wide open. She carried out the test by using her bare hands into the girl's private part in order to see if her hymen is intact or has not been tampered with. If the girl passes the test perfectly, she would be given a virginity certificate, which serves as a means to participate in umhanga or reed dance ceremony, the annual 8-day Zulu event that welcomes single ladies with their traditional attire. They normally dance in the presence of the king's bare breast while carrying long reeds. The potency test can virtually be seen among the Banyankole tribe in Uganda. This practice is almost similar to the virginity test. This form of test requires the aunt of the bride to confirm the potency of the groom or her husband by sleeping with him. The aunt, having passed through this sex, can testify if the man is manly enough to handle a woman in bed and is qualified to marry the bride. Another way in which this test can be done is to permit both the groom and the bride to have sex in a room while the aunt keeps an eye watch or listens to them whenever they are having sexual intercourse. 5. Wife stealing. The Word-Ab tribe of Niger practice this annually. The Word-Ab tribe can also be found in some parts of the African countries like Nigeria, Cameroon, Chad, and Central Africa Republic. This practice is being carried out by the women as their traditional belief, where their husbands permit them to have sexual activities with other men for 7 days during this ceremony. Reverse can also be the case whereby their husband can also have sex with any woman of their choice. Men normally disguise themselves with heavy makeup and peacock feathers as they strut their staff in front of them during this period. The men are found with a spectacular mating dance which will draw the attention of the female. When a woman sees the man's display, she moves towards him, tap him and steal him at that moment. 6. Donyaza and Kachabali sexual practice. Another ancient Africa sexual practice, typically found in Rwanda, which is also practiced in Kenya and Uganda. The sexual practice that focuses on only triggering the female ejaculation, and not just one, but multiple orgasms in women during heterosexual encounters. In Uganda, women are taught how to pull the labia majora to create a more inviting and warm environment and access for a man to penetrate. This act helps in ejaculation and orgasm, as the act of tapping the penis on this elongated lip sends some messages. For strong orgasms, 7. Sex. There are many people who do not understand the term dry sex. Some take it to be the pulling off of one's clothes and going through the motion of sexual intercourse, thrusting, grinding, and rubbing against each other's bodies without ever having sex, while others say it is a means of giving through the motion of sexual intercourse without taking off your clothes. Dry sex is dominantly practiced among the KwaZulu-Natal. 8. Masturbation. Another sexual practice in African setting is masturbation, a process whereby the both gender couldn't find the opposite sex to have sexual intercourse. They choose to improvise, or make another alternative to satisfy their sexual drive. The woman uses her hand or a toil machine directly into her private part to ejaculate and also reach the peak of her orgasm. On the other hand, the man uses his hand to elongate his organ, possibly with the use of applied substances like soap or water to make him ejaculate. 9. Anal sex. This is another sexual practice observed in Africa as one of the topmost practices. The right position originally made it for sex, as the vagina has been annulled of its value. But the young and adolescents have abused the cause of nature to inordinate or improper position anal for sex. This practice is carried out just for satisfaction. A story was told that a man chose to perform anal sex with his wife. The very day he did, the whole bed was messed up with feces. 10. Gay and lesbian. Right from the onset, human beings are created of two opposite sex to be a good match for sex. That is to say, what one does not have the other can give. That is the sex form instituted. The practice of guy as man to man, lesbian woman to woman, has gained ground as sexual practice in Africa. In conclusion, although there are other sexual practices in Africa, such as bed dancing, normally found in Zambia, a pre-wedding event, where drums are used and dancing impart knowledge. The drum beat and singing makes the woman dance and stimulate sex. Multiple sex as sexual practice can be seen as well. To be mentioned but a few. The above mentioned are cited as the top 10 sexual practices in Africa. Thanks for watching. Please do like and subscribe for more.